I am now in a place which my map shows to be called Rose Revolution Square. And by the way, I have learned one thing in Georgia: no square or street is complete unless you have some friends there. Rose Revolution Square. Can it be the same exact historical place where the huge historical thing happened a while ago? Remember, I was telling what I heard from the local people in Batumi video. I was telling you what I heard from local people about Saakashvili, the president who was something around 10 years president. And here, if I'm guessing correctly, because the name is seemingly too obvious for me, because the Rose Revolution was the moment, when was it, 2003? Something around that time, when at that time the president was it Shevardnadze, or was there somebody else after Shevardnadze who was president at that time? Not sure. I think it was Shevardnadze. And elections were run. Everything was as it normally should be. Like with normally, what do I mean? In ex-Soviet countries, most of them, not all, but the vast majority of ex-Soviet countries, how does these things happen? Well, there are big guys and medium-sized guys and smaller guys, and when the big guys have planned and arranged everything, they have good plans for future, they have heavyweight interests, and they have arranged between all the truly influential guys how the things will be run, then things run smoothly. But then there is such a thing as elections, such a nuisance. And you know, when you have finally made all the arrangements with all the properly important people, and everything is divided and everything is arranged, you can't at that moment let some people to mess up these plans through some elections. What's that? And at that moment as well, elections were running as normal, everything was planned, everything was nice. The old president was re-elected, of course. What's the question there? But then something strange happened. People went into... was it the same square? I was kind of imagining it's bigger, but maybe, I don't know. And people went into streets, and the demonstrations got bigger and bigger and bigger and out of control, but they were peaceful, so you couldn't really shoot them all. And they were... and the old president, which was kind of re-elected, quote unquote re-elected, he said no, everything was perfectly okay and the elections were legitimate and everything was fine. You're just dreaming, people, that it should be a different result. And at the end it got bigger and bigger, until the first day when the first newly elected whatever meeting should it be, when it should happen, then people with roses in their hands just stormed the government building, or was it parliament, I'm not sure, and stormed it and ran into it, and basically the old president resigned. The newly kind of re-elected president resigned. And then Mikhail Saakashvili was the biggest leader of the opposition at that moment, and then they were making a different new elections And these elections were really transparent, and there were a lot of also observers from Western countries and non-governmental institutions and so on. So these elections was really told to be proper elections. And then suddenly turned out that Saakashvili get, what was it, something 94 or 96% of votes. You know, these kind of figures you get only in two cases. The first is the typical one, like when you have a proper normal post-Soviet elections, I won't comment more. Or you get such numbers in honest, transparent elections, in the case when there has been a long history of serious oppression, and then the opposition candidate is the one who gets all the votes, basically. And as far as we can all know, that was the case. So Mikhail Saakashvili became a president, and all the amazing stories which I told you in Batumi video that started to take place in this country for the next 10 years. So I understand, as far as I can understand, and as far as what I hear from people here on the streets, that these things are of a huge importance in the modern history of Georgia. Interesting. It would be interesting to see more, to find out more how did it all happen and what did take place in each of these phases, and because there are not so many good examples. Like, there are a full world of examples how governments are decaying and taking more control and becoming more authoritative and more problem causing for people, but there are not so many good examples when it was overturned. Dear Georgians, if I can believe those things which I hear from you, sorry, I haven't checked many of these facts yet, and I don't know if I will have time to check them. But dear Georgians, if it is true, you have my deepest respect, seriously. You are some wonderful people. Keep going.